minum matcha right now? Please have. I figured the brief notes you sent, but I'd like to hear everything directly from you. What's been happening?
Yes, thank you for seeing me in short notice. Honestly, I'm still very shocked. I didn't expect this at all. Honestly, I still can't believe I'm sitting here talking about this. I never imagined something from my past would come back and hurt me like this.
You're safe. Take your time and start where you feel comfortable.
Last month, I returned to Kinabalu to visit my family. One day while driving, I noticed a huge billboard near Jalan Sepanggar. There was a woman face on it, a beautiful woman, smiling, dressed in traditional attire.
And you recognize the image?
Yeah, immediately. It was an old photo of me. An image taken more than 15 years ago from my beauty pageant days. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Then I started noticing the same image on rice packages. In grocery stores, supermarkets, Jaya Grocer, everywhere.
That must have been extremely distressing.
It was because that image no longer represents who I am, not as a woman, even not as a Muslim.
Did the company ever contact you or ask for your permission?
Never, not once. That's what hurts the most. They are using my face to sell their products, rice and etc., making money from it without even informing me.
You mentioned in your affidavit that you converted to Islam in 1995.
Yes, and since then, I've lived my life guided by Islamic values, Alhamdulillah. I wear a tudung, and I stepped away completely from the beauty pageant industry. Seeing my uncovered image displayed publicly, used for commercial profit, rice packages, felt like a violation of my faith and dignity.
I understand, and this is consistent with what you stated in paragraph 7 of your affidavit, where you explained how the use of the photograph conflicted with your religious principles.
Exactly. People don't see the context. They just see my beautiful face and they judge. People who don't know me might think that I'm still involved in beauty pageant. It will affect my reputation, my dignity, family, and even my faith.
Just to be clear, at no point did the company contact you or request your permission?
Never. I never signed any agreement with them. I never gave consent. As I mentioned in my document in paragraph 5, I had no knowledge whatsoever that my image was being used.
And the use was clearly commercial, packaging and advertising?
Yes, they are making money from my beautiful image. Isn't that wrong?
Morally, yes. Legally, this is where the law becomes very harsh. Under Section 37, subsection 1 of the Copyright Act 1987, only the owner of the copyright can bring an action for infringement. And according to paragraphs 15 and 16 of the judgment, the author of a photograph is the person who made the arrangements for taking it, usually the photographer or organizer.
But I'm the one who is the photograph.
I know, but as the court later stated in paragraph 17, merely appearing in a photograph does not make you the copyright owner.
So the law says my face belongs to someone else?
In copyright terms, yes.
That feels so dehumanizing. It feels like I have no control over my own identity.
The court also pointed out something important in paragraph 17. You were not the only woman in the photograph. If ownership was based on appearing in the photo, then the other two women would also be joint owners.
But they weren't even involved in this case.
Exactly, and you were unable to prove that they assigned their rights to you, which weakened your claim further.
But they weren't even involved in this case.
There's another complication. According to paragraph 18, the Sabah Tourism Board had published this image in a book in 1992. The court inferred that the tourism board either owned the copyright or had permission from the copyright owner.
So that ultimately excused me?
Legally, yes, it removes your locus standi.
What about my privacy? Surely my dignity matters.
We did explore that, but as the judge explained in paragraphs 26 and 27, the photo was taken during the public YouTube imaging with your voluntary participation and had already been widely published. The court concluded it was already in the public domain.
So, because I once stood on public stage, then I lose my privacy forever?
That is the uncomfortable implication. Puan Sharina, I want to be honest with you, not just as a lawyer but as a human being. This case exposes a gap in the law. The law protected technical ownership, not human dignity.
Then, what does justice even mean?
Sometimes justice doesn't come from winning. Sometimes it comes from showing how the law has failed real people.
If that's the case, then I do regret bringing this into action. Because maybe the next woman want to have to go through this.
As noted in paragraph 28, the court may see this case as an abuse of process, but your experience is very new. If nothing else, your case will be remembered as a reminder that the law must evolve.
Then let it be remembered, because I am more than just a beautiful image on a rice bag.
Miss Wani, I never thought a packet of rice could bring us to the court.
To be fair, Miss Wee, it's not the rice, it's the face on the packaging.
Yes, Sharina Nur Elina, former beauty queen. She claims we used her photograph without permission and is suing us for copyright infringement and invasion of privacy.
Are we in serious trouble? Let's go through this step by step. Based on the facts, and more importantly the law, our position is actually quite strong.
I like the sound of strong. Please continue.
First, copyright claim. Sharina argues that we infringed her copyright by using her photograph on our rights packaging.
That seems logical. It is her photo, isn't it?
She is in the photograph. Yes, but legally that does not make her the copyright owner.
So, being in a photo doesn't mean you own it.
That is correct. Under Section 37, Subsection 1 of Copyright Act 1987, only the copyright owner can sue for infringement. And the copyright owner is usually the photographer or the party who commissioned the photograph, not the subject.
That's counterintuitive.
It is, but copyright law protects creative effort, not personality.
So, what about her argument that the photo is negative?
The court addressed that directly. Photographs were taken during public beauty pageants, including Tunggandau events, where multiple photographers were present. Sharina did not take the photo herself, nor did she prove that the copyright had ever been assigned.
So, her claim fails at the very first step?
Yes, without copyright ownership, there can be no infringement.
If I'm not mistaken, she also mentioned something about being the main face in the photo.
The court rejected that argument as well. In fact, the judge pointed out that there were other women in the same photograph.
Meaning?
If simply appearing in the photograph created ownership, and all of the women in the image would be the joint owners.
Which would be impossible to manage.
Exactly. That interpretation would make commercial publishing unlegal. Additionally, the Sabah Tourism Board had already published the image in book years earlier.
So the image was already circulating officially.
Yes, the court inferred that tourism board either owned the copyright or had permission from the true copyright owner.
Alright, what about invasion of privacy? She seemed genuinely distressed.
The court acknowledged feelings, but feelings alone don't establish a legal right. She argued that using the image without consent violated the privacy and dignity.
And does the law agree?
The court focused on the context.
The event?
That's right. The photograph was taken at public beauty pageants, attended by spectators, photographers, and also media. They were later published in newspapers and official tourism publications.
So the images were already public.
Yes. The court held that there was no reasonable expectations of privacy. There was no intrusion into her private life.
So if you stand on the stage with cameras everywhere, privacy is no longer there.
That's essentially the legal position.
Legally, we are safe, but morally, I can see why she's upset.
That tension came up in the judgment as well. The court applied the law as it exists, not as it might ideally be.
So the law protects ownership, not dignity.
In cases like this, yes.
So how did the court finally decide?
The court dismissed the Sharina's claim entirely. Both the copyright and privacy claims failed.
Dismiss?
Yes, and the dismissal was with cause, in favor of Cadwell Eda's NADHIRAH.
That's the best outcome we could hope for.
The judge even suggested that the claim bordered on an abuse of process, because she lacked legal standing from the start.
This case will probably be remembered, not because of price, but because of what it says about information rights.
Agreed. It's an important reminder that the law draws the line between identity and ownership.
Well, lesson learned. Next time, we will double check everything before putting a face on our packaging.
That would be a wise decision, even when the law is on our side.
Thank you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Alright, good morning, councils. Thank you for attending today's mediation session. My name is NADHIRAH, and I have been appointed as the neutral mediator to assist both parties in exploring a potential resolution for both parties. Before we begin, I would like to clarify my role. I am not a judge, and I do not decide the outcome of any dispute. My purpose here is to facilitate discussion, clarify concerns, and help both parties consider whether a mutually acceptable agreement can be reached. So, I will remind that everything discussed here is confidential, voluntary, and without prejudice, meaning that nothing said in this room can be used in court. Do both parties agree to proceed with under these terms? Thank you. From the information provided so far, I understand that this dispute concerns the use of Ms. Sharina's photograph on rice packaging and advertising by Cadwell Eda's NADHIRAH. So the main concerns here appear to be the alleged unauthorized use of the photograph, the emotional, religious, and personal impact on Ms. Sharina, and the defendant's reliance on copyright ownership and public domain principles. Concerns? Does this fairly summarize the key issues? At this stage, I would like to move away from legal arguments and focus on interest and business opportunities. Ms. Disha, could you share what your client posted to this mediation?
While Shaila understands that the law may allow certain uses of the law, her primary concern is dignity and personal respect of the client choosing decision. She feels hurt by the public use of working newspaper faced with her religious beliefs and her identity. She seeks acknowledgement of that part and assurance that the image will not be used in future debates.
Thank you, Ms. Disha. Ms. Wani, could you outline your client's positions and concerns?
So Kendall and Nor maintains that type of fee relying on photographs that were already publicly available. However, the company is concerned about potential reputational impact, ongoing legal costs, and the prolonged effects in its sales operation. My client is open to discussion provided there is no addition of legal liability.
I appreciate the openness from both sides. What I hear is that one party seeks respect, acknowledgement, and closure, while the other seeks certainty, reputation protection, and finality. But I would like to highlight that this session is not about revisiting legal findings. It is an opportunity to explore a practical and humorous solution. Without convincing either party, possible discussion options could include voluntary cessation of future use of photographs, a non-emission statement expressing respect for the claimant's beliefs, or a private settlement agreement to prevent future disputes. These are simply starting points for discussion, not recommendations or decisions.
We are open to exploring options subject to our client's opinions.
We are prepared to consider these options provided by the company's legal position.
Hey everyone, I would like to reiterate that any resolution must be voluntary and any agreement must come from the parties themselves. If no agreement is reached, both sides retain the right to pursue court action again, and there is no obligation to settle today. So before we formally close, I'd like to ask whether this discussion has helped clarify each side's concerns.
Yes, it has. My client feels that being heard today has been very important, even if a final resolution is not reached immediately. At least the company now understands your respective form of living.
I also appreciate hearing your sincerity. While we must still protect our legal position, this discussion gives us a clearer view of how to address the concern without unnecessary.
Alright, thanks is so encouraging. Thank you for both for your professionalism and cooperation. Even small steps such as acknowledging each other's concerns and intentions can make a meaningful difference. And as for now, this session is formally
They're using my face all on the products to sell their products, making money from it, and Asman, I return to Qatar tomorrow.
Boleh je, kita kira batin.
religious emphasis the impact of Ms. Sharina identified